Welcome back to another week of Operation Evil. This is episode 42, Locked in the Closet. I'm your host, Nyoka.
I'm Rachel.
And I do want to touch base on some housekeeping things that we're having in the works and talking about. First, we will be having the Holly Dunn book contest still. Don't worry, we did not forget. We have the book, we have all these things. It just might be at the beginning of next month when we actually have the contest. If we do decide to do it before then, we'll definitely let you guys know in the next episode. Secondly, if you are part of our Patreon, we are looking into vamping things up in that area, diving deeper into that. And who knows, maybe tiers 2 and 3 might get another goodie bag for the summer or something. We are still talking about all that stuff as well. And then lastly, as always, thank you to everyone who tunes in and listens to us. We appreciate it. We are building this little true crime community of Operation Evil, and we love it. So remember to share us with any like-minded people that love true crime. And I've been spending some time at home away from Rachel. So sad. I know, don't cry. But I've been getting caught up on some true crime shows that I needed to. And one of my favorite true crime shows is Evil Lives Here. Do you watch that one, Rachel?
I actually don't think I've ever watched that one. Oh. Isn't it on the ID channel, though?
It is. It is. I highly recommend it. I think it's my favorite, to be honest with you. It's like my favorite one. I love it. So I was catching up on that. There's a new season. I was really excited because there's like 10 episodes already, so I can binge some.
Is it kind of like Evil Neighbor or something like that?
Yeah, but way better. Yeah, you would really like it. And you guys definitely check it out if you have the ID channel. It's so good. And that's where like my story is coming from today is I watched an episode and it was so disturbing to me. And the guy telling it was just emotionally just broken. Like he had to take breaks telling his story. And it was just so sad. But I was like, I have to cover this one. Like, it's just the craziest thing
I'm looking forward to this.
Heard. So I do want to give a trigger warning on this episode. The episode will talk about disturbing, cruel actions involving children. If you want to skip this episode, I completely understand. Listener discretion is definitely advised. Before I begin, though, do you have anything for us that you want to mention? Did I get anything or miss anything?
No, I think you covered everything.
Okay. This episode is called Locked in the Closet, and it's called that on the ID channel as well. So it's season 11. Episode 1, I will have it in the show notes if you do want to watch it afterwards. I recommend it. It is just, it's heartbreaking. So it begins with this woman named Mary Rowles. Age 15 to 21, she ended up having 6 children. A lot of kids.
6 children?
Yeah, from the age of 15 to 21.
Wow.
She was a good mother before this situation took place. Like they remember going to Chuck E. Cheese, having your normal kid fun, all of these things. But when she met her girlfriend, Alice, her name's Alice Jenkins, she met her at a gay nightclub in Akron, Ohio. And the next thing the kids know is that they're living in a new house with Alice. Now, the 3 older siblings, so out of the 6, the 3 older one is Danny, Daryl, and Marissa. They moved in with their fathers. And I think they all have different fathers, by the way. Pretty sure.
So those 3, did they like stay together or did they each had separate fathers?
I think they each had separate fathers. And they went and they lived with their fathers.
That's so sad that they were separated.
Yeah. But the person, the sibling telling this story, his name's Jesse. And he was telling this whole story. But anyway, so the 3 older siblings, they move in with their dads, and then Jesse was left with his brother Tyler and his younger brother Caleb. So he was in the middle of those 2. So those 3 kids lived with Alice and Mary. And for a while, things seemed okay. But Alice began seeing herself as like the man of the house. And like, I don't know, like she ruled the house and everything seemed perfect from the outside, but the inside things were getting crazy. She began getting jealous by the attention that the kids received from their mother, Mary.
Oh my God.
So if they needed anything and Mary gave them that attention, it really bothered Alice.
So like at the time, I don't know if you said, were they little kids? Like,
yeah, they were like, one was a baby and the other two were probably between the ages of 6 and 8. So they still needed their mom for things.
Yeah.
She just got ate up with jealousy about this. She just did not like Mary's attention going to the kids. She was not having it. So when Mary went to work, she would take the kids and they would be in this one bedroom and they had twin beds. And she would make them lay down on the beds and she would tie their wrists and ankles to the bedpost. And at first, Jesse and Tyler would be in the same room for this. Caleb was still a baby, so she didn't do this to Caleb. She actually had to take care of him. But the kids thought, well, maybe this is like a game. So they would like try to escape and then come downstairs later on, which they would. So after a while, they would figure out how to untie themselves, go downstairs when their mom, Mary, came home. And Alice would be furious about this. And she would just repeat this, tying them up day after day after day.
Like all day long, they would be tied up until they could figure out how to untie themselves.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But she got mad that they're figuring this out and they're getting loose. So one day she found a new way to keep them away from her and Mary. She separated the boys into 2 separate rooms and they were really close to each other, like very close, like neighbors. And she would take the boys and put them in their own bedrooms and then tie the doorknobs to each other. That way they couldn't get out. You see what I mean? So if one tried to open the door, they couldn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They were trapped in their room. So they couldn't get out and they didn't feel like this was a game anymore. And they would sit in their rooms all alone. They didn't have anything in there to do. No one to talk to. They would come out for dinner. She would let them out, let them come downstairs, eat dinner, and then they would be put right back into the rooms.
So this would be while their biological mother was home too?
Yes. And she never said anything about this. Never. She just went with it. So over time, Alice would think of new things and become more sinister. And where she would once let them out to have like a small breakfast and lunch and dinner, she was now bringing them lunch to the bedroom, but it would only be a half of a peanut butter sandwich. That's all they would get. It's just a half of a peanut butter sandwich. And they thought at first, like maybe this is a snack until like lunch, but no,
yeah,
no,
and
it
these
wasn't.
And they're both boys, right? You said?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So they're growing boys.
Yes. So she wouldn't even let them out to eat anymore. They were eating in their bedroom.
Like prison.
Yeah. They weren't even allowed out to use the restroom. Now, Jesse, who's telling this story, he explained that he would lift up the corner of the carpet on one side of his bedroom and use the bathroom there and then cover it back up, hoping not to get in trouble for having to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I mean, this would be going on for months and months. I mean, they were being raised like animals. The brothers weren't allowed to talk to each other. And you know what? They even went 11 months without seeing each other, these boys. Yeah.
Almost a year?
Yes.
So did they go to school?
Well, we'll get to that. So,
oh, no.
Yeah. They never had any contact with Alice besides her coming in and giving them like a half a sandwich or yelling at them or something. That's the only contact they had. Mary never stood up for them or protected them like you should for your kids.
Right.
It was quite ridiculous. But somehow Mary she took Daryl, Danny, and Marissa as the 3 older kids that were living with their dad. She took their fathers to court for custody because she wanted partial custody. Why? I don't know. And for a few weeks, they would be over and things would appear normal. So when those kids were visiting, they would let the other kids out. So that way they
to
wouldn't
make
go
it,
home
yeah.
and tell their real dads like what was going on there. So the kids would have meals together and they would sleep normally. And Alice was trying to cover her tracks so, they wouldn't rat her out. One day, Marissa walked the boys to school for the first time. So I guess now they're school age at this point. They didn't even know what school was. They couldn't tie their shoes. They couldn't read. They weren't even potty trained. On top of that, they weren't equipped to even be out in public. I mean, they haven't even been outside in a long time. And here they were. It was like sending wild kids to school. And when they were there, no teachers seemed to show any concern about the boys like being malnourished, and nothing was ever done. But eventually, Alice and Mary would pull the boys out of school and have them homeschooled. Okay. And I say that in quotations. So,
yeah.
So one afternoon is kind of like where this took a turn. Alice's confinement of the boys became drastically more severe. And it was a week or two after they pulled the kids out of school. Some kids were walking by the house and they saw them up in their bedroom window and they're waving like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And the kids open the window and they're like, hi. And they're like, come down, let's play, let's do something. And the kids are like, oh, I'm not allowed. Well, Alice walked in during this like whole thing happening. And she was furious. And that's when the closet lockups started. So she slammed the window down and she said they shouldn't be talking to those kids. And she made them both get in this closet, which was like a 3x5 in size. It was really small. It had a little carpet floor, no shelving, no pull string light, nothing. It was just a dark, empty closet. They thought maybe this was like a one-time punishment, but this would continue for years. In the beginning, the closet door was just getting locked. Like she literally had a padlock outside that door and would lock those kids in there. Then over time, they acquired this like large dresser. And then she thought it would be better if she put the dresser in front of the closet door as well, because she would sometimes forget to lock the closet and then they could get out. But this way, they can't get out if she forgets to lock the closet.
So were they in there like 24/7?
Well, pretty much, yes. Alice would, and this is where it got really bad. So she really used food against them. Alice would only feed them randomly whenever she just felt like it. There was no like lunchtime, dinner time, nothing. It might be a day before she feels like giving them anything. And then when they got food, it was, again, a half of a peanut butter sandwich, but now the boys would have to share that half because now both of them are locked in the closet together. So it's awful. I mean, it's disgusting. And when they did eat, they had to eat it in front of Alice. So she would open the closet door, like move the dresser out of the way, open it, watch them eat this while they're eating in a place that is one small. It's where they sleep. It's where they use the bathroom because they're not getting bathroom breaks. And Jesse, the one telling the story, he says they like learned this survival tactic because they were starving, that they would eat really, really, really slow. And then they would vomit it back up later and eat that again. It was like a survival tactic. Yes. And he actually ended up with the eating disorder as a teenager and vision issues due to being locked up in the dark all the time. They would be confined to the closet for a couple weeks to months at a time. And they even tried to claw their way out of the closet. They thought maybe they could make a hole and escape. And when you see pictures that they show of the closet, you can see where they use their little fingernails and clawed at the drywall, where you can see the little boards behind it,
This is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's awful. Like, I cannot believe somebody could do this to children. So they would try to claw their way out. But of course, that didn't work. There was no concept of time when you're locked in a closet all day long and it's dark. The whole time you're in there, you don't know if it's daytime, nighttime, a day's passed, anything. Well, Alice.
Was it comfort at all to him to know that his brother was there with him?
I would imagine so. But his poor brother, really was Alice's target. She despised him. His name's Tyler. She despised him and she put a lot of physical violence towards him. I don't know if it's because he was a mixed child, and I don't know if that's why. I don't know. That's the only difference between the two kids. But I mean, she would put on her steel toe boots and kick him in the groin as hard as she could. She would kick him downstairs. She would spank him with a belt for talking too loud in the closet with Jesse. I mean, she despised this kid.
What in the hell is wrong with her? And what is wrong with their mother?
Exactly. Why isn't she doing anything? Why? Well, one day, Alice took him out of the closet and the boys were really confused by this. And she brings them downstairs to like the living room, has them sit on the floor, and she has this like trash bag and she dumps the trash bag and it's full of toys that they've never seen before because they don't have any toys. And she's like, play with these. And they're just like, what is going on? Well, it was for a show because CPS came to the house and they think that they may have been called because of the older siblings, because the bedroom, as you can imagine, started to smell really bad of urine and feces. So they probably went home and told their dad how bad it was smelling.
Yeah.
And that's probably how CPS got involved. But CPS never went upstairs. They never like did anything. And it was just dismissed. This only boosted Alice's like confidence in getting away with all of this. So
and
now
it probably pissed her off even more.
Yeah. So now she can feel like she's on top of the world. She can do what she wants. She's not going to get caught. Well, in 2003, all the siblings ended up living with Mary and Alice. Mary fought for full custody. This just blows my mind because why? You obviously don't want the kids that are in your house right now.
I wonder if it was about money.
Maybe. That's a good point. I didn't even think of that. Well, she fought for full custody and I guess she got it. Marissa, the older sister, was the one who would like really show them kindness. And she would unlock the closet door, let them out, take them to the bathroom. One day they're like, I'm so hungry. Can I go get some food? And she's like, yeah, let's do it fast because they weren't home. And she would take them down to the kitchen and they saw the fridge, the cabinets, everything was stocked, packed full of food. Like they've never seen so much food. So it's not like Alice was depriving them because they didn't have the food to give. No, they had plenty. They went wild. They grabbed like Pringles, Gatorades, whatever they could fit, in their hands. And they went upstairs to the closet and she's like, okay, gotta hurry up, get back in here before they get back. And Jesse in the show was talking about he ate so much. Like he has never been like so full as that one day. They just was overwhelmed. Well, Alice discovered this, of course, and she was so mad. She opened the closet door and she gave them both a bowl and told them to eat it. And the bowl was full of feces. They're thinking dog feces from like the backyard.
No.
And this was the punishment for stealing her food, she said. And she made them eat it while she watched. Yeah, I feel so bad. I'm telling you, this broke my heart. It did. So now Alice is feeding them once a week.
Once a week?
Once a week. Yes. And Jesse and Tyler, they haven't even seen their mother in months. And all they can talk about is escaping this situation. The older kids told their dad what was going on. They did nothing. Nothing was happening. So one night, Marissa unlocks the closet door, and she says, look, it's time. Tonight is the night. And the plan was Daryl, Tyler, and Jesse would leave first because they all couldn't go at the same time by climbing out of the bedroom window. And so they used the gutters and whatever they could to climb down. And the gutter ended up crashing down loudly. And the kids were like frozen in shock, like in the yard, just waiting for the bedroom light to come on. And they get caught, but it didn't. It didn't come on. So they were, oh my gosh. So Jesse was describing being outside. It was like overwhelming, and it was beautiful, and it was just like this freedom and, you know, just the fresh air. I mean, it was just, it was just so sad. The three boys were wearing like minimal clothes, no shoes. They were malnourished. They didn't know really what to do. So they were just walking around. And I guess this woman sees these kids like drinking from her fire, or not her fire hose, her garden hose, some water. And she calls the cops. We assume because a short period of time later, a cop car came and pulled up. And the cops had them sit in the cruiser. And in exchange for talking to them, they went and got the kids food and drinks. And they were just, they could tell by the way they were eating it that like something wasn't right. And the kids end up telling the officers, they're like, look, they put us in this closet and we hardly ever get to come out. I mean, they told them everything. And the cops were just like taken back at what these kids were telling them. Well, one of the cops is like, we're taking you back home. And the kids are like freaking out, like, no, oh my God, no, don't take me back home. And they were like, no, relax. You're not going in there. You're staying in the car. So multiple like cop cars came up to the house. And the next thing you see is they got handcuffs on Alice and Mary, and they were being arrested. And Jesse and his siblings were hospitalized and treated for malnourishment. And Jesse stayed for 6 weeks. Okay, let's put it at this point. Jesse, who was telling the story, at the time of his mom's arrest, he was 8 years old and he weighed 28 pounds.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. 28 pounds at 8.
Oh, God.
Yeah. The older three siblings, they end up returning to their father. And Jesse and Tyler and Caleb were sent to a foster home and eventually adopted by another family. And for years, Jesse feared that Alice would come and like try to take him back. And he would sit by the window at school to ensure he was safe. Gradually, though, he learned that he was having a happy life. And these people that had no obligation to him gave him a childhood and gave him that love. And he was finally healthy and happy and able to be a kid. And it ended in a good note that way, being adopted. But
so his two brothers were adopted.
They were too. I don't know if they were together, but they were all eventually adopted. But now, as a side note, as reported by Akron Beacon Journal, Jesse faced another horrifying incident in 2012 when 3 of his friends were gunned down by a classmate in Chardon High School. So he experienced a school shooting on top of this, of all this trauma. This poor kid. I just had to throw that in there because I'm like, I'm telling you, he was
feel safe anywhere.
If you watch it, you can see how emotionally like just traumatized he is. So once arrested and put on trial for their crimes, Alice and Mary Rowles faced a total of 55 charges, including kidnapping, felony assault, child endangerment, and corrupting another with drugs. Mary was additionally charged with permitting child abuse. They both pled guilty and they were sentenced to 30 years in prison in 2003. Now, Several reports in 2019 mentioned that Alice Jenkins was seeking early release after claiming that prison had changed her to be a better person. Mary Rowles also filed a request for early release in 2018. However, their petitions have since been denied. Both women are still incarcerated at the Ohio Reformatory for Women in Marysville, Ohio. Now, Alice and Mary are expected to be released in 2033. Now,
I find that so ironic and ridiculous that life has changed her, or prison changed her life, so she wants out, and she never let those kids out of prison.
Right. They're getting treated better in prison than those kids got treated.
Yes.
Yep. Because they have a bed to sleep in. They have a bathroom to go to. They know they're getting fed.
She's got it a lot easier than she gave it to them.
Yeah. In 2017, Jessie contacted Alice and asked her, like, why does she do these things? And if she felt any remorse for it. You know what she said? She says she didn't do anything wrong and that she was just doing the job that Mary should have done as the mother. Yes.
And she thinks that prison changed her?
Right. Now, Mary, writes him occasionally, and she apologizes every time. Now, according to Beacon Journal, Jessie's half siblings, including Tyler and Daryl, they're doing well these days. The children were starved and tortured, and they carry heavy, heavy trauma with them. Some of them struggled. Well, I would probably say most of them have PTSD, and some have struggled with drugs and alcohol. Now, Marissa, the sibling who basically saved them, the one who looked out for them all the time, he was able to get back into contact with her after several years, and he met her children, and he said that she was just such an amazing mom, and she was meant to be a mom. And
that's nice.
She was such a good parent. But one day after she was dropping her kids off at school and heading back home, she got hit in a head-on collision by a street racer, and it killed her instantly.
Oh my God, let this dude have a break.
Yeah. Today, Jessie, he is living a freedom-filled life in Scottsdale, Arizona. Jessie says he sees the world in a lens where bad things are happening and he just wants it to stop. And he said, you never know what is going on behind closed doors. That's it.
I'm so sorry, Jessie.
I know. And I don't blame him for seeing the world like that.
No. And I mean, the fact that he finds his sister and then, oh my goodness.
They were dealt a very, very bad hand.
Was there any mention, was he able to find love or anything like that?
Yeah, he does have a partner and he's very happy. He has a good job. I think he may even work with children. I'm not sure. He is living his best life, but there's just a lot of, you can tell he's still working through things. You should definitely watch the episode so you can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm going to post pictures too. I think I even have pictures of him being 8 years old and 28 pounds when he was at malnourished. But yeah, that's it. That's the end. That concludes this week's episode. If you're craving more Operation Evil, check out Patreon for bonus episodes. We still need to put out April's episode, which we will be doing that soon. We do put out one bonus episode per month. And also, if you're looking to start a podcast, just click on our link, our Buzzsprout link, and that will let them know that we sent you, and you get a $20 Amazon gift card and all that good stuff. I guess in the meantime, I don't know what else to say. I mean, this episode was do you see why we had to cover it? This story touched my heart. I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
Hearing what these kids were going through. I just hope that all these child abusers have a very special place in hell one day waiting for them.
Oh, they have to.
It's awful. It's awful. That's just my thought.
Well, I mean, it's just, we always think it's important too that, people aren't forgotten. And even though we don't know Jesse and we don't know his family, we care about him.
Absolutely.
Obviously you care about him to tell, to retell his story. So
just hearing him tell his story, and I mean, he had to take breaks from telling it. It was just really emotional. Oh, it just got to me.
Well, and we can only hope, because we know, meeting Holly, that the talking helps.
Yeah.
With the therapy of it. So yeah, maybe that's his way of coping, and it will help him.
I think so too. And I hope that his siblings are coping okay.
Yeah.
But
yeah, did a great job relaying that.
I was worried. There was so much going on and so many new tortures that she was doing to these kids. It was like, I don't know.
She's horrible. Like the epitome of evil.
Yeah. And her picture will be posted on there too. I will have all these pictures ready to see. Yeah. Awful. Well, that's all I got. Do you have anything else?
No, I feel like we need to tell a joke or something though.
I know, it was so heavy. I'm so sorry. I know this was a heavy one for sure. But I guess the positive thing is Jesse made it out to get him.
Of course, yes.
To get him in prison. And yeah, it's awful. But I don't have a joke. I couldn't find one. I couldn't think of a cute little pun or anything because everything was so dark and heavy on this one. I was like, I can't do it. Can't do it.
I know. There's been a couple of our episodes where we just kind of are like, we don't know what to say at the end. So we just end it.
We're just like, it's I don't know. Heavy. It is. And this is just one of those, unfortunately. But let us know what you guys think about it. Or if you watch the episode, let us know.
Yeah, share your thoughts.
Crazy. Definitely. And if Jesse hears this and you want to come on the podcast to talk about anything, we would love to have you.
We are here for your support.
Absolutely. But that's all we got for you today. We'll be back next week with a brand new story. Thank you guys and goodbye.
Bye.